final stretch of The Late Show marked more than the end of a television program. It symbolized the closing chapter of a specific era of American late-night broadcasting. For decades, the 11:35 p.m. time slot on CBS had been associated with cultural commentary, celebrity interviews, and political satire delivered in real time. When reports and discussions emerged suggesting that Stephen Colbert's long-running version of the show was coming to an end, the reaction was immediate and emotional across audiences and media circles. The show had not been struggling in the traditional sense of ratings collapse or audience abandonment, which made the announcement feel abrupt to many viewers. Instead, it arrived during a period where television economics, streaming competition, and shifting audience behavior were already reshaping the industry. Within that broader context, Colbert's departure became a focal point for larger questions about what late-night television is becoming, who it serves, and whether traditional broadcast formats can still sustain flagship programs at their former scale. The announcement, the audience reaction, and Colbert's on-air response. When Stephen Colbert addressed his audience at the Ed Sullivan Theater following the announcement, the atmosphere was described as emotional and unsettled. Audience members reacted with audible disappointment, including moments of booing, when the implications of the show ending became clear. Colbert, maintaining his characteristic composure, acknowledged the reaction and expressed that he shared the sentiment. He thanked the production crew and staff who had worked behind the scenes for years, emphasizing that the show was not simply a host-driven enterprise but a large collaborative operation involving hundreds of people. What stood out in his message was the absence of bitterness or dramatic framing. Instead, it was presented as a professional farewell to a long-running institution. The fact that the show would not be passing to a successor host, but instead ending entirely under the Late Show banner, added to the sense of finality. For many viewers, this moment represented not just a cancellation, but the end of continuity stretching back to earlier eras of late-night television history. Public debate, political interpretations, and industry speculation. Following the announcement, public discourse quickly expanded beyond standard entertainment news coverage into broader speculation about motive and timing. Some commentators questioned whether the decision was purely financial, pointing to ongoing changes in broadcast revenue models and declining profitability in traditional late-night programming. Others suggested that the timing of corporate decisions, legal settlements involving parent companies, and regulatory considerations created an environment where external pressures might be perceived as influential, even if not explicitly acknowledged. These interpretations were amplified by the inherently political nature of Colbert's monologue style, which frequently addressed current events and government figures. However, official statements from CBS consistently emphasized that the decision was part of a broader strategic evaluation of programming costs and long-term viability. Within industry analysis, it is widely recognized that late-night shows operate under increasing financial strain, regardless of popularity, and that decisions to end or replace them often involve multiple overlapping considerations rather than a single defining cause. The resulting uncertainty fueled ongoing debate about transparency in media decision-making. The economics of late-night television in a changing media landscape. Even as public attention focused on potential external influences, there remained a significant structural reality shaping the outcome. The economics of late-night television have shifted dramatically over the past decade. Production costs for flagship shows remain high, with large writing teams, production crews, celebrity bookings, and studio operations contributing to substantial annual expenses. At the same time, advertising revenue tied to traditional broadcast time slots has declined as audiences migrate toward streaming platforms and short-form digital content. While clips from shows like Colbert's often perform strongly online, those views do not always translate into direct revenue for the originating network. This disconnect between cultural reach and financial return has become one of the central challenges for the genre. Industry estimates often place annual losses in the tens of millions for major late-night programs, even those with strong ratings relative to competitors. As a result, networks increasingly evaluate whether maintaining expensive flagship shows is sustainable when cheaper alternatives or format changes might generate similar audience engagement at reduced cost. Personal history, early loss, and the formation of a creative voice. Stephen Colbert's public persona as a comedian and broadcaster is often understood through his political satire, but his personal history provides important context for his approach to storytelling and performance. As a child, he experienced profound loss when his father and two of his brothers died in a plane crash, an event that reshaped his family life at a formative age. He was the youngest of several siblings and grew up in a household where resilience and emotional endurance became central themes. Over time, he has referenced this experience in interviews as a foundational influence, though typically without framing it in a self-pitying manner. His educational path eventually led him through theater studies at Northwestern University, followed by early work in improvisational comedy in Chicago. These experiences helped him develop a performance style grounded in adaptability, timing, and character work. Rather than pursuing fame directly, his trajectory reflected gradual accumulation of skills across writing, performance, and live audience interaction, all of which later became essential to his success in television. From The Daily Show to The Colbert Report and the evolution of satire, Colbert's national recognition began significantly with his work on The Daily Show, where he served as a correspondent and writer. This role allowed him to refine a comedic voice that blended factual news commentary with satire and character-driven performance. His later creation of The Colbert Report marked a major turning point, as he developed a fictional persona modeled after political punditry, using irony and exaggeration to critique media ecosystems and ideological rhetoric. The show became influential in shaping how political satire could operate within mainstream cable television, often blurring the line between parody and commentary in ways that engaged audiences on multiple levels. Over time, the character became so recognizable that it influenced public discourse itself, demonstrating the cultural reach of satirical media during that period. This phase of his career established him not only as a comedian, but as a commentator capable of shaping political conversation indirectly through humor, setting the stage for his eventual transition into a traditional late-night hosting role. Transition to The Late Show and the challenge of reinvention. When Colbert was selected to take over The Late Show in 2015, the transition represented both an opportunity and a significant professional challenge. He was moving from a highly stylized fictional persona into a format that required direct engagement as himself, under his real identity, in a historically established television institution. The early period of his tenure was marked by uncertainty in tone and structure, as the show worked to redefine its identity separate from both David Letterman's legacy and Colbert's previous character work. Critics initially questioned whether the program had found its voice, particularly during its first season, where ratings and reviews were mixed. However, the political landscape beginning in 2016 provided a turning point, as increased public interest in political commentary created space for sharper monologues and more pointed editorial framing. Over time, Colbert's version of The Late Show evolved into a more politically engaged format, blending interviews, satire, and monologue-driven commentary in a way that resonated strongly with a large segment of the audience. Ratings growth, cultural influence, and industry leadership. As the show matured, it achieved sustained ratings success and became a dominant force in the late-night landscape. Over multiple seasons, it frequently ranked at or near the top among its competitors, maintaining strong viewership across both traditional broadcasts and digital clip distribution. Beyond ratings, the show also became notable for its interview style, which often diverged from conventional promotional appearances. Guests were frequently drawn into deeper conversations about personal experiences, social issues, and unexpected topics, contributing to moments that circulated widely online. This approach helped the program maintain cultural relevance even as viewing habits changed. Industry recognition followed in the form of awards and nominations, reinforcing its status as a leading program within its category. Despite these successes, the broader industry continued to shift beneath it, with networks reassessing the long-term viability of high-cost nightly productions. The combination of strong performance and structural financial pressure created a complex environment in which even successful shows were not guaranteed indefinite continuation. Final weeks, shared appearances, and industry solidarity. In the weeks leading up to the final episodes, the tone surrounding the show shifted toward reflection and collaboration, rather than competition. Several prominent late-night hosts and entertainment figures made appearances or sent messages of support, creating moments that emphasized camaraderie within an industry often framed as competitive. These interactions included shared on-air segments and special guest appearances that highlighted long-standing professional relationships. The atmosphere was frequently described as celebratory but also sentimental, acknowledging both the achievements of the show and its impending conclusion. Writers and production staff, many of whom had worked on the program for years, were also recognized for their contributions, reinforcing the collaborative nature of television production. This period functioned as a transition phase, allowing both the audience and the creative team to process the end of a long-running format while still engaging in the familiar rhythm of nightly production. Farewell episodes, high-profile guests, and structured closure. The final stretch of episodes was structured as a multi-night farewell event, featuring a series of high-profile guests and retrospectives designed to honor the show's history. These episodes included appearances by prominent figures from entertainment, politics, and music, reflecting the broad cultural reach the program had developed over more than a decade. Some segments revisited earlier moments from the show's run, while others focused on live performances and conversations that emphasized closure rather than promotion. The final episode itself was positioned as a major television event, bringing together a wide range of guests associated with Colbert's career and the broader late-night ecosystem. This approach transformed the conclusion into a curated retrospective, allowing the program to end with intentionality rather than abrupt cancellation formatting. The structure also reflected an effort to acknowledge the audience's long-term engagement and the show's place within contemporary television history. Legacy beyond television and the lasting influence of Stephen Colbert. Even after the cameras stop rolling and the stage lights dim at the Ed Sullivan Theater, Stephen Colbert's influence on modern television and political comedy is likely to remain significant for years to come. His career reflects a rare combination of satire, emotional intelligence, improvisational skill, and intellectual curiosity that allowed him to connect with audiences across different generations and political climates. What made his version of The Late Show distinctive was not simply its monologues or celebrity interviews, but the sense that viewers were watching someone who genuinely cared about language, ideas, and the emotional undercurrents of public life. He balanced humor with seriousness in a way that often encouraged audiences to think while laughing. Throughout his career, he demonstrated that comedy could challenge power structures without losing humanity, and that late-night television could still function as a meaningful cultural conversation space rather than only a promotional machine. Whether one agreed with his political perspective or not, his consistency, preparation, and authenticity earned respect from colleagues and audiences alike. As media continues evolving toward faster and more fragmented forms of entertainment, Colbert's body of work may increasingly be viewed as part of the final generation of traditional late-night hosts who operated at the center of mainstream cultural discussion. His departure therefore feels symbolic as much as professional, representing both the end of a personal chapter and the fading of a television format that once shaped national conversations every single night. Conclusion and the uncertain future of late-night television. The conclusion of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert represents more than the end of a single program. It highlights a transitional moment for an entire genre. Late-night television, once a stable and highly influential part of broadcast culture, now exists within a rapidly changing media environment where traditional formats compete with digital platforms, streaming services, and fragmented audience attention. While Colbert's run is marked by strong ratings, cultural impact, and critical recognition, its ending underscores the reality that success alone does not guarantee permanence in modern television economics. The reasons behind such decisions are often multi-layered, involving financial, strategic, and cultural considerations that are not always fully visible to the public. What remains clear is that the legacy of the show will persist through its influence on political satire, interview style, and the evolution of late-night programming. Its departure leaves open questions about what will replace it, and whether future formats will retain the same cultural role in an increasingly decentralized media landscape.